And I know it's been a while. I've kind of been on a hiatus and, um, first of the year stuff, going over what my focus points are going to be for this year and what action steps I'm going to take and what direction my life and my business was going in. And I have to admit, I had kind of a downtime during the holidays too, because as most of you know, I am a widow and my husband's birthday we were married December 1st and my husband's birthday was January 6th. So that whole time frame of the holidays was kind of hard on me this year for some reason. Previous years it's not been a problem, but this year was kind of a problem. But I'm back. Just wanted to say that I'm back. And today I'd like to talk to you about focus. Um, we talk about change and how it's inevitable and um, change is constant because it's always in our lives. Something is always changing, whether it's external or internal, something's always changing, and we're having to deal with that. So sometimes it's on a happy note, and sometimes it's not so happy and it's really stressful. So, one way we can work through the change is to create focus points. Now, this time of year, everybody's like, oh, have you got your goals? Have you got your 90-day goals? Let's make sure we've got our goals and they have to be specific and blah, blah, blah. I am up to here with goals. Goals are important, don't get me wrong, but rather than focusing on goals, focus on points. Points you want to be to during the year. Um, Points in time when certain action steps will be done. Focus points that are what you really want to accomplish. Um, it's it's sometimes hard to figure out what our focus points are going to be. Um, One of mine this year is to um, a focus point for me is to have my Etsy shop loaded and running. Now it is up, and there are, I think, two things in there just as to have it there. But during this time I've been off, I've been doing some artwork, so I need to get that in there. And I've decided, because a friend said something to me about it, to maybe start making some planner charms and planner bookmarks. It's something I enjoy doing, and in the past, I've made jewelry, and then that time changed. My husband got sick. I quit doing it. Well, over this hiatus, I went out in the garage, dug through everything, and found my jewelry tools and my beading supplies and all that kind of thing. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing next on an artistic level. So that's a change for me. I'm changing from being non-active to being more active. So what's my focus point? My focus point is I want to create my first two planner charms by the end of February. Now that's way off, and it's like I could kick them out in an afternoon, which is maybe true. But for me, there are steps involved. I have to clean my tools, get them organized. I have to clear a space where I can work, not on my desk, somewhere else. I have to get the beading supplies and sort them all out, because in the process of them jumbling around out in the garage, all the beads got mixed up in each case. And there's like 12 or 24 different kinds of beads in each case. So I've got to go through and sort all of them out. So those are action steps I'll be taking to get me to the action step of actually making the charm. Then I have to upload them into the take pictures, upload them into the shop, and get the shop open and running. So that's my action step. Now, you may call that a goal. To me, a goal would be more like, I want to make X amount of dollars from my shop this year, or I want to have 10 private clients by the end of the year, that kind of thing. I prefer to focus my focus points more specifically and in smaller snippets. While yes, my overall goal is to have 10 clients by the end of the year. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm not sure. I'm going to work toward that. There are enough people out there that need my help that I know that it's a very real possibility that that will happen. I also have a large project I'm working on that is taking me longer than I thought it would. I tend to underestimate how long things take me because I'm one of those squirrel people. Little ADD, a little easily distracted and bored. So it's hard for me to focus on a long range, large type of goal. It's easier if I put little snippets of action steps in my everyday planner, then I'm more likely to get them done. For instance, I was gifted a Leuchtturm, I don't know if I'm saying that right, a 1917 planner, journal with the dot grid. And it's the first time I've ever tried to do a bullet journal. So I've been trying that since the first of the year, and I really like it. It allows for some of my artistic ability to show in it. And I find that with my file effects, even though I'm still using my file effects, I tend to shuffle stuff around in it a lot because I can. I'm constantly rearranging things and moving things from one space to another and then moving them back again and that kind of thing, playing in it, so to speak. But in the bullet journal, once it's in there and there's no moving it. So I've had to be a little more direct on what I'm doing in it and think about it before I start writing stuff or gluing stuff into it. Even with that said, I'm probably going to be done with it by the end of March. I've got so much stuff in it. I've had so much fun with it. But anyway, every day I put down project because I want to work on that project. And because I haven't sat down, taken my focus point, and worked out all the action steps, I haven't gotten anywhere with it. I keep, migrating it to the next day. So if you see me on Instagram, you'll see where I have continually migrated some of the same things over and over and over and over because they still need to be done, but I just can't focus long enough and they're not specific enough and small enough for me to be able to get them done. Also during this time, I came to the conclusion that I am in fact going to move as soon as the farm sells, which will be within the next year. And I am going to move to Georgia near my brother. I have friends down there, and it's close to Florida, so I can visit my friends in Florida, and it's much warmer than it is up here, and I can't stand this cold. Midwest cold is bone chilling. I think it's Maya Angelou said, and I hope I pronounced her name right, said, if, let me think, If you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it, change your attitude. And I have found that to be a good thing to think about, because a lot of times we're presented with things during our um, focus gathering, action step writing, goal writing times. We come up on things that we don't really like or we don't really want to include, but we think we have to, or it has to be included, but we just really don't want to do it. So if we can't change it or modify it in some way, then the only course left to us is to change our attitude toward it. And I find that a positive attitude really helps. If you look at the change or the situation from a glass half full as opposed to a glass half empty, you're going to see different things. You're going to see more positive aspects and therefore be encouraged to continue with whatever it is. Excuse me, my nose itches. Now, I have spent a lot of time on Instagram. I love Instagram because I love pictures and I love art. Way too much time. That is a rabbit hole that I go down almost every day. And when I come up for air, it's like 2, 3, 4 hours later, which is really bad because that means I'm not getting stuff done the way I should. However, it's also a great place to get ideas about things that you're working on, projects, focus points. Take your keyword and look it up on Instagram and see what other people are saying about it or how they're viewing it. And you may just find that someone else's perspective helps you put it in better perspective for yourself. Change isn't always easy. For the most part, for me, change is easy. I've lived in 32 different places. I think it's 32 during my life. The longest I've ever lived anywhere was in the house I'm in now, which is 13 years. But every aspect of my life has been changed, whether it was as a kid and my mom divorcing and remarrying multiple times, whether it was the moving and having to change schools and meet new people, and I tend to be very shy, so that was always an issue for me. Dogs. See, distraction. But change has always been there for me, so I've learned to make it my friend. I look at it from a positive standpoint, and I try to make almost a game out of it. I try to make it fun and entertaining and something I can look forward to, because if it's a change that I don't like, that I don't want to go through, it gets real bad real quick, and I don't like that at all. And I have been forced through some changes that I was not happy with. I was hired as an executive director of a home health agency in St. Louis, Missouri. Big agency, lots of responsibility. They were, their accreditation was under review. They had some real issues, and that's what I love doing, is fixing things. So I was thrilled to get this job, to be selected, and beautiful work environment, wonderful people to work with. It was just a pleasure to go to work every day. And 2 months into the job, they sold the company sold the business out from under us. And the company that bought us fired all of us. So it was like, wait a minute, what just happened? And when I talked to the lady who had hired me originally, She knew all along they were selling the business, and she knew they were probably going to fire everybody. But she didn't think she could get the caliber of nursing executives she wanted in the position and have it improving and running right in order to sell it for a better price if she told them what was going on. So that was a blow to me. That was not fun. That was a change I did not like going through, but neither did any of my employees. I mean, we all went through it together. We all found other jobs and doing other things. I became a consultant for a different home health agency in St. Louis, and worked there until I was injured and was no longer able to work. But I have made change my friend, because it's just so much easier to go through it if you're looking at it from a positive standpoint. Change is also constant. It is always there with us. It is never gone. It's always something. So you need to be able to look at it, take a step back and look at it from a different perspective. I mean, sometimes I'll write whatever the change is down on a piece of paper and I'll put it up on the wall, and I'll walk around and look at it from different angles. And sometimes that'll trigger something in my memory or in my mind that allows me to look at it differently and to feel it differently, to change how I'm feeling about it, to change my attitude without me consciously changing my attitude. It does it kind of automatically. But if you read my blog this week, it's about what change is and how companies describe it, and it's the definition of change, and it's the beginning of a series I'm doing about change and how we go through it. And it's part of my project. So I got a little bit of it done. So my challenge to you this week is to take one of your goals and pick a smaller focus point. Then write down the action steps for that focus point and put them in your planner. Every day, 5 days a week, put it in your planner that you're going to do one of those teeny tiny little action steps. I mean, it can be something that only takes 2 minutes. That's good. Then that's one thing crossed off the list. But at the end of the week, I want you to come back and comment and tell us what your focus point was and how you did. And I'll do the same. So we all are in this together and we need to do it. I hope that you have a fantastic week. And I hope that you're able to hone down on those goals, get some focus points, and get those action steps written in your planner. So until I see you next week, hopefully, JaeByrd out.